Today we assemble this. Good morning, good afternoon, and finally good evening. However, and wherever you're watching this, hello and welcome to Malcolm's Way. My name is Matt. So what we're going to be looking at in today's video, well, I've already mentioned in a previous video, in the fiddle yard, I'm going to be using Pico Code 55. Now this is a lovely, reliable system that works and plenty of layouts are built with it. But in the scenic section, I want something a little bit special. This is where I found the FineTrax range. We'll be leaving a link in the description below. But let's take a little bit of a closer look what we do get in the pack. Now this is hand-built track, but it really is very simple to build with a few little tools and a jig as well. But anyway, let's tap over to the bench and take a look exactly what we'll need to build this FineTrax Flexi Track Code 40 track. Welcome to the workbench then, ladies and gentlemen. What are we going to need in order to create this Flexi Track? Well, to begin with, a knife comes in mightily handy. This is for when you're cutting the sleepers off of the sprues. Talking of cutting, you are going to need a set of track cutters. Now these are the Exuron ones and they are pretty battered as you can see, but they are doing the job just as we need. Now these really are optional. A set of pliers, don't need to have them, but they do help you in the long run. Just save your fingertips a little bit when you're pushing the rail through the sleepers. Code 40 rail, as you are cutting, you are going to need a file of some sort. Very easy just to file off once or twice. And now finally, our little jig. Now this makes life so much easier and you really do get the sleeper spacing spot on and the sleepers will not move anywhere when you're putting the rail in place. Very simple little device. Them two little wing nuts come off that wood. You see at the top here, that bit comes up, sleepers go in, job's a good one, but you will see that later on in the video. As you can see then, not a lot of tools needed to complete this little task. The jig really is handy. I can't highly recommend that enough. It makes your life that so much easier, and you know you're going to get track that is properly spaced and the sleepers at the right distance. Lovely stuff. You do get around a metre of the Code 40 and the sleepers in the pack, and that comes as a set price. Once again, the link is in the description below. Please do check it out. Wayne's track work really is quite superb. We are going to be looking at points later on, but for now, let's step back over to the workbench and see exactly how we put this track together. Welcome to the workbench then, guys. As you can see now, we are going to start cutting the rails to length. A prototypical section of track was 60 foot. That equates to 12 centimetres, or if you'd rather, 120 millimetres. I tend to cut it slightly oversized, so you're probably looking at about 12.5, possibly 13. But that just gives you a little bit of wiggle room at the end of the sleepers. Obviously, rails will have two bits of rails going in there, so we're going to need to cut them exactly the same length so they are ready. It doesn't really matter what order you do this in. You could get a little production line going so you cut all the rails ready, or you can get all the sleepers cut off the sprues. It really doesn't matter. For this video, I just wanted to show you the process from start to finish. So you are going to have to clean up ever so slightly. As you saw, I was using the Exuron track cutters, and fantastic as they are, mine really are battered and have taken a bit of a hit. They're still working fine. But the file will just clean up the little nibs on the end of the rail. That's just a little flat file I'm using there, and it brings them up, so it just makes it a little bit easier when you are threading the rail onto the sleepers. Because engage, these things really are small and fiddly, but as I've said many times in my previous videos, this is not hard to do. Anyone can do this, and hopefully by watching this video you have got a slight interest in maybe going down this route. And of course I will be leaving a link in the description below to Wayne's FineTrax range. On to the sleepers then, and these come in a nice bag. And they do come on sprues. Now you get 5 sleepers per side and 2 sets on each sprue. So you've got 20 sleepers right there, and it's just a case of cutting them off the little plastic nibs. Really isn't hard, really isn't difficult to do. Having a quick tidy up of the desk, and now we're going to go and launch in for the knife. Always try and keep that cap on top, guys, because I have had flying knives off the desk. They always seem to roll off and land in your feet, and it's not a pleasant experience. So if you can, remember to put that cap back on top of the knife. But very quick, easy cut straight the way through. The joining plastic really is quite thin. You don't need a lot of pressure on there at all. And then the sleepers are free from the sprue, and you've just got to repeat this now for the next 3 times for a section of track. You can probably see there in the corner we do already have one pre-made. This was me just doing a trial run to just see how easy it was before I did it on camera, and it went exactly the same as this one. So I haven't hidden anything at all there, guys. And it's quite therapeutic building these. You know, you're sitting there, you're cutting bits off, you're putting stuff together, but you're actually having a product at the end of it you can be proud of, and you can look back and think, I bought that, then I built it. I didn't just buy it and then lay it. I bought, built, then laid. Just getting rid of the old plastic there. We are now ready. Cap back on the knife. It's again, previous experience. Not quite sure what I'm doing there. A quick clean of the knife, but there we go. Right, onto the jig. This does come with 2 little wing nuts on top of there, and a little block of wood goes on top. Now, there is a ever so slight bit of play in the actual moulding. Quick close up of the sleepers. You can really see how thin and delicate they actually are. So gently putting in there, as I say, they are quite delicate. It is quite easy to bend or snap these if you are too heavy-handed. But they go in there nice and lovely. And you are going to have a little bit of a jig around in there to make sure they're all in line. And the top just goes straight on top, and then the 2 wing nuts will go on top of this. Now, I don't know if you find with wing nuts, sometimes they will go on easy as anything, and sometimes they can be an utter pain in the... That one went on particularly easy, and I don't know about the second one. Let's have a look. Give me a quick shake there just to make sure they're all level. No, that didn't give me too much grief. I've sat there before for quite a while trying to hit them on. There we go then. That is the sleepers in the jig, all ready to go. And we have the chairs on top of the sleepers, and it's just a matter of sliding them into place. Now I'm going to quick look off camera to make sure what way these go up. There is an ever so slightly smaller side and a slightly chunkier side. Now, when I say slightly, this is code FineTrax, so it is pretty minute anyway. But try and get it the same way up all the way around, guys. It doesn't really matter which way up. There is obviously a correct way to do it. And there we are, just sliding the rail onto the chairs. As you can see, you can use your fingers or you can use pliers. I think I went to the pliers now. Yeah, I do. Now, if you have a slightly stubborn bit, just take your time, move the sleeper around ever so slightly. You don't want to be snapping the chairs off, because again, they are delicate, they are small, and they are quite fiddly. But this task really isn't impossible, and I challenge anyone to do this. This one was being ever so slightly stubborn, but we got through and we got it in the end. There we go. You can just see it sliding through that chair that was causing a little bit of grief. And on it goes. Now naturally, as you have 2 sides to a rail, 2 sides to a track, obviously we're going to have to put a bit of rail on the other side also. And I have found this does slide in a hell of a lot easier than the first side, I guess because you've got a bit of support there and the sleepers should all be straight and in line. This one should slide in no problem at all. Now I tried to turn it around here so you guys could see it a little bit better, just threading it onto the rails, and this should now just glide through the chairs that are in place. It really will help if you are pretty proficient at filing off the little nibs on the end, so you've got a nice smooth run, barely any friction for the rails to run through the chairs. There we go then, that is going through there, no problem at all. And congratulations, we've done our first bit of FineTrax Flexi track. Really simple, guys, really easy. Just need to take your time. It isn't rocket science. Anyone can do it. If I can, anyone can. Off come the old wing nuts, and the plank of wood will come off the top. And I really do recommend getting this jig if you are going down this route. It really is a lifesaver and speeds up so much time. Quick bang on the desk to get them out level, and there we have it then. I think I'll bring it up to the camera now for a slightly closer look. There we go. Lovely stuff. You can really see how fine and delicate this track is, and it just looks absolutely superb. Thumbs up indeed. Right, so comparison now. We've got the FineTrax and the Pico Code 55, and it really is chalk and cheese when you have them side by side. The height of the rails and from the chunkiness of the sleepers, hopefully on this video you can see just a comparison there. Now I do put a loco on in a minute so you can get an idea. I think this is the little Graham Farish C-Class. Has been weathered. There we go, on the Pico track. But you really can see how different the two are. Now I am using the Pico Code 55 in the fiddle yard, so no issues at all with the actual track itself. But on the scenic section I just want something a little bit finer and a little bit more refined. And I think at the end I do just pop a bit of the FineTrax on and pop a loco on there as well. There we go then. There we have it then. The track really is that simple and easy to build. I challenge anyone to go out there and build it themselves. You do not need any specialised tools for this. It's all stuff you should have laying around your workbench anyway. But this track really is quite something. It really is detailed, and it makes a hell of a difference when the locos are on there. You don't really notice it too much until you put the Pico and the FineTrax range together. It's so much finer, and the detail there is simply superb. Now, as I mentioned in the voiceover, the track is at a prototypical length of 60 foot. This does equate to around 12 centimeters. Luckily, the jig is exactly that size, so we can get on and start cracking on building the track work now for the scenic section. I have actually bought the wood, so we're ready to bring the track into the scenic section. So we are going to be doing that in a future video, but I'm going to go back to the workbench now and I'm going to crack on building some more. If you have enjoyed this little video, please do ensure you hit that like button and also smash that subscribe button. Also, leave a comment and I'll do my very best to get back to you. But anyway guys, stay safe, keep yourself busy, get out there, do some modelling, and I'll catch you again very, very soon. This has been Malcolm's Way. I've been Matt. Goodbye for now.